welcome to episode 129 of Movies and Us. I'm TJ.
And I'm Marcus.
This is the review show that reviews genre movies from the beginning, sometimes. And this is really when the sometime comes in because we're not doing a superhero movie this week because of reasons, I guess. I don't know. We just decided we're not doing a superhero movie this week. In fact, we're doing two movies this week that are not superhero movies. We are covering today the 1957 film 3:10 to Yuma and its remake, the 2007 3:10 to Yuma.
I know the audience's buttholes clenched when they heard 1957. Like, what film did Marcus pick that's pretentious and boring?
To be fair, I picked this. So
I guess you did, and the reason you read that,
we're also covering the 3:10 to Yuma, like 10-page short story that everything is based off of.
Remember that, guys? 10 pages.
Yeah, I don't know if it was 10 pages, but it wasn't
about that.
It's either that or a little more, a little less.
Yeah, no more than 20 pages. It was a quick in and out.
Yes. So
with these movies. No.
All right, we got two preambles to get through here today, so let's start it. The first movie, the 1957 film 3:10 to Yuma, was directed by Delmer Daves. Delmer Daves.
I haven't looked at this yet. Where do you see? Oh, that's right. The old stuff's different. Delmer Daves.
Yes.
Oh, I'm in the wrong. Hold on. I don't know how I got there. Okay, there we go. Okay, continue.
The screenplay was by Hasted Wells? I don't know. Weird name. Produced by David Hellwell?
Produced by David. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, sure. Hellwell. What kind of name is that?
It stars Glenn Ford, Van Heflin, Felicia Farr. Really?
You know who that is?
No, it's just the women in this movie are barely in this movie.
I say there's women in this movie. What are you talking about?
Anyway, Leora, and that one is especially because I don't know how she got higher billing than Leora Dana, since she's literally in one scene.
Wait, which one's which? Who played his wife? Who played
Felicia Farr? Is the girl? Is the girl the bartender?
Her name's Emmy. Okay.
Yes, and then Leora Dana is the wife of Evans.
Yes.
Anyway, Henry Jones, Richard Jekyll, Robert Emmart, Sheridan Cameron, George Mitchell, Robert Ellenstein, Ford Rainey, Woodrow Chambliss, Boyd Stockman, Barry Curtis, Jerry Hartleben, and Dorothy Adams. Let's just get all the stuff we need for this movie out of the way first.
Yeah, that's fine.
Since it would be confusing to go back and forth like that.
Yeah.
So, the film was popular, obviously, for its suspense and sharp black and white cinematography.
Wasn't that sharp, was it?
I guess it was. They also
How'd you watch it?
I watched it on the thing we always watch our stuff on.
Okay, the same way. Okay. Yeah, it wasn't that moody or anything, but okay.
I mean, maybe it was for 1957.
Oh, true. Yeah. No, maybe. Yeah.
People like the bad guy. He's atypical, apparently, in that day and age. And the movie was nominated for a British Academy of Film and Television Arts Award for Best Film, and I don't know if they won, but there was also an award, the Laurel Award for Top Male Action Star, in which went to Van Heflin.
Oh, nice.
The film also caused the word Yuma to enter the Cuban slang of lexicon.
Called what?
The lexicon for Cubans, their slang, essentially.
Oh.
Because Yuma is literally Cuban for gringos, and use it to describe American visitors.
Okay.
Well, so apparently it was big for that. And obviously I have a remake which we're covering, and it is part of the Criterion collection.
Yes.
So that's the behind the scenes in that one. Let's move over to the credits for the new one, yes.
Okay, well, back to the credits. We're going to do... Oh, you hear that, by the way? Look at that.
Yeah, I hear it. I hear everything.
I miss hard copies of stuff, TJ. Physical media is superior. It's not hipster of me. It's just factual. I forgot how much I miss putting in a movie, TJ, of something I haven't seen before, and just getting excited, going through the DVD menu, seeing all the behind the scenes. There's so many behind the scenes shit, and just DVD commentaries and deleted scenes. Remember deleted scenes? Like, God.
Marcus, I never went away from physical media, so.
I know, but God, me, it's perfect stuff. Perfect. Streaming, convenient, but not superior. Anyways, so we're doing the credits, you said, right, of 2007's 310 to Yuma? Okay, so the 2007 310 in Yuma was directed by a man named James Mangold. We will see him later next year. He directed a movie called Logan, so we'll get to him. Screenplay by, what is their names? Halstead Wells. Is that the guy who made the book?
No, that was the guy who wrote the last screenplay.
Oh, okay, weird. So Halstead Wells, Michael Brandt, and Derek Haas.
The person who wrote the book is the guy who wrote the book is Elmore Leonard.
Elmore, yeah, I see that. Yeah, produced by Kathy Conrad, starring a slew of people. We have well, not really a slew, actually. That's a lie. So we have Russell Crowe as Ben Wade, the bad guy. Christian Bale as Dan Evans, the good guy. Logan Lerman as William Evans, the son. For reasons. Dallas Roberts as Grayson Butterfield. Ben Foster as Charlie Prince. Peter Fonda as Brian McElroy. Yep. Vanessa Shaw as Emma Nelson. Alan Tudyk as Doc Potta. Gretchen Mol as Alice Evans. Lenny Lofton as Glenn Hollander. Johnny Whitworth as Darden. Kevin Durand as Tucker. He was an X-Men as the Blob. X-Men Origins Wolverine. Luke Wilson as Zeke. Who else was in them? Oh, Christian Bale as Batman. Yeah. Russell Crowe, was he in every one of these movies before?
What?
Was Russell Crowe in a comic book movie?
Not that I know of.
No, really? There's no way he hasn't.
Not one we haven't covered anyway.
Huh.
He might be in something coming up.
Maybe not, because I don't think he has put in a comic book movie proper. Huh. That's weird.
I think he was. Weird. I think he was in something recently.
Well, I was thinking he was in the new Black Adam, but that was Pierce Bronson, so that's very weird to me.
Oh yeah.
Ben Foster.
What
was he?
He's Jor-El in Man of Steel.
Oh, see, yeah, I knew it was in something.
We blocked that movie out.
Yeah, I just edited that movie in the review, and it's like, that movie sucked. 2 out of 10. Yeah, so we got Batman and Superman's dad.
And he was in the Thor 4.
Duh, yeah. Well, he's in bad ones, huh? Well, I haven't seen that, but I heard it was bad, so.
It's not as bad as people say it is.
No. Ben Foster was also in X-Men Last Stand and The Punisher. Well, he's been in a few comic movies. It's what happens. People are in comic movies, guys. That's the people in the movie. What else am I doing right now?
I can do a quick behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, go for
it. They actually considered Tom Cruise for Russell Crowe's part.
Tom Cruise, okay.
And Eric Bana also wanted the role, so
I think Tom Cruise would have been a better
we'll get into
for that role.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Also in the summer of 2006, Columbia Pictures placed this film in turnaround. I don't know what that term is. It's a film term, apparently, though.
I don't know. See this at.
It's the under production, second paragraph. First sentence.
Turnaround. Let's click on it. It's clickable. Turnaround. Turnaround turnaround in filmmaking is the use of outside assistance to resolve problems preventing a film project from completing its development phase and entering the pre-production phase. A project stuck in development phase is said to be in development hell. What? It's used
That's as why I read that too. I was confused. That's why I brought it up to you.
Yeah, it's the use of outside assistance. So Hollywood hires someone from outside to resolve problems preventing a film project from completing its development phase and entering the pre-production phase. What? That makes no sense to me.
That's why I was like, I don't know what that term is. I thought maybe you would.
Oh, let's go back to that. Let's just read the sentence. It was in summer 2006, Columbia placed the film in turnaround, and the project was acquired by, maybe they wanted it to be stuck in there so enough people could get it, I guess.
I don't.
And maybe it's like a logistical thing, like to keep the rights to it or whatever the fuck. Who knows?
Anyway, also, another thing that happened with the film, on the first day of filming, a rider and his horse were seriously injured in a scene when the horse ran directly into a camera carrying vehicle instead of veering off as planned. The rider was hospitalized and the horse had to be euthanized on the set.
No!
The animal's death prompted an investigation from the American Humane Association. By November, the AHA concluded its investigation, finding that the horse did not respond accordingly due to having received a dual training approach and the rider not being familiar with the mount. The organization recommended no charges against the producers.
So hold on, going back to turnaround real quick. When you scroll down further, it says informal descriptions. A turnaround or turnaround deal is occasionally used to describe an arrangement in the film industry whereby the production costs of a project that one studio has developed and declared a loss on the company's tax return, thereby preventing the studio from exploiting the property any further. The rights can then be sold to another studio in exchange for the cost of development plus interest. So yeah, it's legal bullshit for monies. Makes sense. Anyways,
I did not follow. I kind of tuned out halfway through your explanation.
Yeah, it was a lot of just legal bullshit rambling
I was like, what? I lost the thread there.
You're good. It's just how they keep money and exchange the thing and money. It's all money. Money. So anyways, a horse died and what? Investigations?
Yeah, there was an investigation. They said they determined that the horse did that because it had a dual training approach. I don't know what that means. And the rider was not being familiar with the mount.
Oh,
the organization then recommended no charges against the producer for it. So animals were harmed in the making of this film. Another thing about this movie was they built a lot of these places, and they built some of it on the Sierra Pelon Ranch. And once the film was concluded, the ranch petitioned to keep the $2 million expansion to the movie set on their property, which was supposed to be dismantled within 90 days.
Nice.
The 310 Yuma made up 75% of the overall sets on the ranch, and the county's development review committee granted their request, which enabled the possibility of future revenue generation.
Which is smart, very smart.
Also, who were the guys that really? Lionsgate. Lionsgate actually decided to release this movie, I think it was a month earlier than they originally intended, so they wouldn't have to compete with two other westerns that came out the following month, which
Open
was
Range.
Nope, The Assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford, and No Country for Old Men.
Oh, good movies. Fucking phenomenal movies. Good move on their part.
I didn't see the first one.
I have it on DVD. It's very cinematic.
But yeah, so they just did that, and it apparently worked out for them. So
yeah, all three of those movies, including this one, are just very not popular, but named westerns for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this one already had a famous name behind it, though. So
yeah, true. So that helps.
So the Lionsgate president said, and what was shaping up to be a very impressive and crowded field of upscale commercial motion pictures that fall, they wanted to be one of the first ones out so that everything else will be measured against them.
Yeah.
The earlier theatrical run positioned it for a prominent high-definition Blu-ray disc and DVD release in the first week of January during award season. And then they did the same thing with a similar movie, Crash, apparently. I don't know what that is.
Crash was terrible. Don't worry about it.
And then apparently in Germany, the movie was released by Columbia Pictures, which was this company that released the 1957 version. So
pretty cool.
People seem to like this movie. Critics.
Yeah, understandable.
It's got an 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. People really like the acting. It received 2 Academy Award nominations. Marco Beltrami was nominated for Best Original Score, and Paul Massey, David G. Marmarco, and Jim Stube were nominated for Best Sound Mixing. The film also received a nomination for Best Cast at the 14th Screen Actors Guild Awards. And that's about it for the behind the scenes on that one.
It's not bad.
Now let's go back to the 1957 version and talk about the box office.
Okay.
The only box office I can find for this is $1.85 million in U.S. and Canadian rentals. So I don't know if there's a box office somewhere that you found.
There's a website called thenumbers.com, which goes through box offices for stuff. It's not listed in the top 10 or so. How much does this one make?
Box office wise, all I got is $1.85 million in U.S. and Canadian rentals.
Hey, it's up there. Come on. It's in the top 50 of the lists of that year, but that list I'm looking at doesn't have numbers next to it. So I'm going to go to the numbers website, thenumbers.com, and to the 1957 section. So it made that much money compared to what made top list that year, The Bridge on the River Kwai, which made a $33 million gross. That's not bad, right?
I guess.
I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know what 1957 money is compared to today.
No. Well, okay, at number 12, The Prince and the Showgirl, which made $1.6 million.
Okay.
So
where did this fall?
count. Hold on, TJ. Let's go back to this list. It fell 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. 32.
It's 32.
Yeah. It doesn't have any numbers on this list. It just has money signs next to it for some reason. So yeah, 310 to Yuma is 32 in the top 50, let's say. 12 Angry Men came out also that year. A couple above that. What else came out that year? And a Fair to Remember. What else do people know? Old Yeller came out there, TJ.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was like number 4. Old Yeller. So yeah, it has some good competition, let's say.
Okay.
Yeah, I really don't want to do box office for this year because there's nothing here for me to like talk about and compare it to.
You haven't seen any 1957 movies?
I mean, I've seen some of those, but they're movies from 1957.
Let's move into something you're more comfortable in. The remake had a budget of $48 to $55 million and made $71.2 million in 2007.
Which does land that movie in the top 80, or I guess to the top 85. And it's at number 82 in the top 100, which is it's a place in 2007. Isn't bad. So at number 80, at number 91, we've called 28 Weeks Later.
Okay.
So it's 65 million. Is that the sequel of the first one?
I don't know what those are.
28 Weeks Later?
Oh, that's the zombie movie.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm sorry. The Mist came out that year. Smoking Aces, Into the Wild. These are good movies. Anyway, so 310 to Yuma made $70 million? $70.1 million?
$70.2 million.
Yes, so that's 82, number 82. What made the top 5 that year? Number 5 was Transformers with $709 million. At number 4 was Shrek the Third with $813 million. Number 3 was Spider-Man 3 with $894 million. Number 2 was Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix with $938 million. And number 1 was, can you guess it, TJ?
Dark Knight.
Oh, no superhero movie. It's 2007. It's a franchise that's Disney owned in 2007.
In 2007?
Yes.
I don't know. Frozen?
No. It's a live action franchise. What?
Live action franchise from Disney?
Yes.
I don't know.
Based off one of the rides.
Oh, Pirates
of the Caribbean at World's End. Yes. Made $960 million.
I was supposed to say we did that whole year. We've had to go through this box office
a few times, I think.
I mean,
Fantastic Four came out that year. Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Because then we did Spider-Man 3, Fantastic Four.
Is that it? Looks like.
I don't know. I guess.
No way. Ghost Rider. Oh my God. Let's get out of here. So yeah. Ugh. Gross. Don't miss that.
We probably covered a lot. We probably covered a lot of animated movies that year.
Animated?
Yeah, we probably covered a lot of animated movies.
Oh, animated. Like yeah, probably. Oh man, I don't miss those early days, TJ.
Anyway,
so that's the box office. So clearly they both did well enough, but not top tens. Although historically speaking, Westerns don't usually make crazy numbers. They're just cheap to make and they're fun to watch.
And yeah, they're cheap to make, fun to watch, and they make more than their budget. So
yes. Like this
one made that's why hundreds of them get made.
Exactly. It's like a cheap horror movie. It's gonna make its money back most likely, and people will watch them. So
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
The runtime for this one was 2 hours and 2 minutes. What's the runtime of yours, TJ?
An hour and 32 minutes.
And how long was the book again?
10 pages.
Yeah, people remember that. That was a short story. You want to describe anything else before we want to talk about?
Yes. Okay. Because we have a little bit of a role reversal here. Any trailers, Marcus? Because
trailers.
I didn't watch any DVDs. You have the DVD for this.
So how did you watch this then?
I streamed it.
So for 2007, like I said, I had a DVD, physical media. Physical media is superior. Beyond that, we had a few trailers. I wrote them down. Let me see if I can remember them as I say them. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trailers. Okay, cool. So the first trailer was Lord of War. It is have you heard this one?
Is that the one about the arms smuggler?
Yes, starring.
I don't know. That's as far as I know.
Nicolas Cage and some other people, but mostly it's a Nicolas Cage movie. It's really well made.
I remember the trailer of it, but that's about it. I never saw it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's solid. It's another one that's it's really.
And I only remember the trailer and the name for it because my memory is just that sharp. It's not because I was impressed by anything.
No, it's a solid movie. It's long. It's an early 2007 movie, so it definitely is going to be dated if you ever do watch it. That's solid. We had a movie starring Jason Statham and Jet Li called War. It's just an action dumb film.
I mean,
I
it's
forget
got
what they fight
Jason
about.
Statham and Jet Li in it. So.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a thinker, I'll tell you that. There's a movie called Trade. I don't remember what it was about. It looked like it was just like a low budget something or another. I don't
See,
recall.
this is what I'm talking about. Like the superhero movies don't have the trailers like these other movies do. I mean, there's like for some reason it's just like here's a few basic superhero movies and some things that we're coming up with, but there's no like trailers like there are in like just regular old movies.
Yeah, like the good old days. And to be fair, these are all things released by Lionsgate at the time. And, as the time goes on, most of these
That's
studios
true. I
have
guess it would be
fallen.
based on the production company.
Yeah, it said also by Lionsgate. Other things you should watch. But yeah, like these studios have been bought and out, gone bankrupt, etc. So we only have a handful of studios left nowadays. So this is why we get less trailers for fun stuff. And also everything's on streaming, so they're gonna get trailers for still on streaming. It just shows up on streaming one day. It's there for a little bit and it disappears.
Anyway, what's your next trailer?
The movie Trade is about an girl that's kidnapped. Oh, okay, yeah. So this one was a girl that gets kidnapped, and her brother gets a guy. She gets kidnapped into like sex trafficking, kind of like the movie Taken, and the brother gets a guy to like buy her back, and there's like a whole kind of drama thing to it. So it looked interesting, but it just looked also badly made. So I was like, almost.
Did he have a set of particular skills?
But yeah, it wasn't a fun action one. It was just more of a drama. I was like, I don't need to sit through 2 hours of that. I'm good.
That's okay. I never saw that one either. So
first one's good. These are mostly all R movies. Like this new 310 to Yuma, we just watched a new one. It's R. I guess that one we saw, the 57 one's probably PG.
Well, it wasn't everything PG back then.
Exactly. Was that the Hays Code? I don't recall if that was the Hays Code.
I don't know because PG technically stands for parental guidance. So it was either
PG-13 was a more
PG-13 isn't invented to like the late 80s, early 90s.
Exactly. So
like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom has some horrific like face mountain thing, and that's rated PG.
Exactly. So PG-13 came after that. So. Yeah, so back then that movie was PG. Aja. The next trailer was a movie called Away From Her. It's about a man struggling with his wife who's going through Alzheimer's. Drama, sad movie. It looks like some comedy in it, but mostly sad. The next trailer was Good Luck Chuck. Good Luck Chuck. It's a rom-com kind of thing. He's trying to find a lady who loves him for him, but because you have sex with him, you find your next
guy they marry or something.
Yes.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, you get it.
I remember that too.
Yeah, it's about the time period you start.
No, it was just trailers were more prevalent back then.
That's true.
You see trailers everywhere.
We don't get trailers.
And apparently my memory is sharp enough to remember trailers from
2007.
From 15 years ago. So
God, old. The next trailer looks really fun and cool. And the movie was in Spanish, but there was a trailer voice guy, which I missed that as well. He had to narrate some of the stuff in English, so it was just funny to see it go back and forth like that. The movie's called Ladrón que roba a ladrón, which means how to rob a thief. So it's pretty much Ocean's 11's, but more comedy. So it's like, hey, that guy's a bad guy. We're going to steal from him after he stole from the people. So it looked like a fun movie.
I've only ever seen one movie in a different language.
Wait, what?
In theaters.
Oh, is this the one you almost walked out on, you said? No, what was it?
Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh.
And I didn't know it was in Spanish when I went to see it.
Did you like it? I never saw the movie.
It was fine.
Okay.
But it was all subtitled, and I was not expecting that when I went into that movie. I don't even know, because I definitely didn't go myself. Someone drove me to that movie. I don't remember who.
Siblings, girls.
I don't remember. I have no idea. It was that unremarkable that I don't even remember why I was there.
Wow, people love that movie, TJ.
I don't remember a single thing about that movie other than it was in Spanish.
Wow. People say that's one of his best films. I'm surprised. Well, you're talking shit on this, TJ. I'm not surprised. You're a TJ. That's what you do.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm saying that it left no impression on me because I don't remember the plot of that movie to save my life.
That's crazy.
And maybe it's because I had to read the movie.
Probably didn't have a good time with it. You're like, this, knowing you. Yeah, that's
stuff. To be honest with you, I read 5 books in the last 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So I read all the time.
I know.
But when I'm going into something, I need to be mentally prepared to be doing that.
I
So
100% agree.
So if I wasn't mentally prepared to go into a forum filled reading subtitles the whole time, it's just not going to stick.
No, yeah. I will put on a movie thinking I'm gonna like sit down and like kind of turn my brain off a little bit and like not have to focus. Once I realize, oh, this is a foreign film, there's subtitles. Save that for later. I'm not ready for that. So I definitely understand where you're coming from. It's definitely a mental thing because reading subtitles is not difficult. You just got to be in the headspace for it.
No, but the difference. I don't know if this is a common thing or if it's just a me thing, but sometimes when I'm reading, my mind will drift, and I've read 2 pages and not taking in any of the information.
I think it's fairly common. Not saying everyone does, but it's fairly common.
So, you can read the things that are coming up, but if you're not absorbing and taking in the information and being with the things you're reading and like actively imagining with it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's also a disconnect from foreign films. Like when you're reading a book, you're reading the words and then you have to imagine it in your brain what's happening. So it's connected on 2 different levels. Whereas if it's a movie, you're reading it and you're watching it, and it's just like it's so easy to just like drift off because you don't know what's really going on.
Yes. I do that with some animes I'm watching, especially like the long format animes. Like, I don't need to pay attention with this. I could just drift off a little bit.
That's why I don't watch Japanese English sub anime. I just watch dubbed anime.
No, I have to watch. Well, I was telling someone at work this. Like, I don't usually watch short format animes because I'm not watching 13 seasons of something that does not need to be 13 seasons. But if I started watching it in subtitled, I had to finish it in subtitled. I started in dubbed, I had to finish it in dubbed just because the voice acting, I know who is who and what's what. So when it comes to subtitles, I have to watch it. But I prefer subtitles because I'm not purist, but it just feels better and more attentive that way.
Not to me. If I don't understand what's happening, I would rather have it in English, even if it's lower quality.
Really?
Yeah.
I can't. And usually the English is very distractingly bad. Like, I can't do that. I'd rather just have. Although sometimes, though, again, the Japanese is just like usually like this is overly.
Well, so like that's the one thing about
active.
English, the English dub stuff. If the anime's not strong enough to overcome bad English dub, it's not worth your time.
That's fair. That's fair.
So it really allows you to really stake out what's a really good anime and what's really not.
Now, let me preface this also. I do not watch a lot of anime. I'm not going to ever watch the extent that you watch. So the ones I do watch, I feel have been vetted through a lot of people. I'm like, this is a good one, so I'm going to sit through and watch it.
I have not watched an anime since I stopped the other podcast. Which
doesn't matter. How many episodes did you guys watch or do?
180.
Exactly. I'm not going to watch 180, and they're all at least a season's worth of anime, right?
Not all of them. Some of them were an episode or 2.
Okay.
There was some that were like just OVAs, like it was between an episode of 3. But most of them were between 12 and 24 episodes. Yeah. There was a few of them way longer than that.
I think I've watched a total in my life of 10. No more. I don't think no more than 10. Well, are we counting American stuff too, or just Japanese shit in this conversation?
If it's anime's anime.
Well, you're saying like Castlevania on Netflix, or is that anime? Or anime is only Japanese animation we're talking about here?
Depends. I consider anything really of that style anime. It doesn't have to be Japanese.
Well, I redact myself. I didn't watch a fair share of anime, but Japanese anime, foreign anime, I would say at least no more than 10, maybe 15 at most, but nowhere near 100.
I mean, you can always say anime inspired, I suppose, but
inspired stuff. I watch a lot of anime inspired stuff, but anime, I like watched some with Elfen Lied. Evangelica, some Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Death Note, Attack on Titan.
Hate that.
What?
I did not like. Elfen Lied is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life.
I know, we talk about it all the time. You're wrong. I seen Berserk.
But Death Note, I did not like Death Note either.
I saw at the time when I was at that age, like, this is great. But I also was watching at the time, I was like, this is still over the top and stupid. Like, a lot of it was very much like, you gotta suspend your disbelief on a lot of shit in this thing. It's too edgelord. It's too much.
Yeah, I did not like it. Not for me.
That's fair.
Like, to be fair, like, I get why people like Death Note.
Yeah.
But it's just not for me, whereas Elfen Lied, no one should like that anime. It's
garbage. It's okay, so stop being
It's the worst garbage. The worst anime I've ever seen in my entire life.
I watched a few episodes of Chainsaw Man. Couldn't get into that one. One Punch Man, I started. I haven't finished yet. What else did I watch? That's pretty much mostly my anime stuff.
I mean, anime's fun.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
yes.
not fun when you have to do a review show about it. But
No, I think it's just so much of it for some. Oh, we're not doing this. Anyways, how we
we're
get
talking
there?
about Westerns today.
I don't know how we
We're in
got
the
there.
wrong side of the globe right now.
What the are we talking about now?
Trailers.
Yeah, I've done trailers. Behind the scenes stuff. There are some behind the scene featurettes that is DVD.
Oh.
There are some deleted scenes. I watched them all. Didn't need to watch them. They only added maybe seconds of information, but nothing critical to the movie. Some DVD, the featurettes were just like breaking down behind the scenes stuff and gangs and stuff, but nothing phenomenal. So there's that. Yeah, so that's the DVD stuff for the 2007 movie. I guess anything else we'll talk about?
No, I mean, we've been rambling, so we can kind of do this if we want.
Let's get into it, I guess.
All right, let's talk about the book first, because we both read the book.
Yes. And by book, you mean short story.
Yes. It's in a book with other short stories.
Yes. It's good. It's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. But it's literally just one scene.
Literally one scene that one of these movies don't really use well. So
yeah, no, that kind of made me mad. Yeah,
you too. I was like,
you kind of
adapt the book. You're not going to use the book.
You're not,
right?
you're not even ruined the whole point of the whole fucking thing. What are you doing?
which is fine because the 10-page story is okay. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
These movies are fine. These movies are totally fine. But coming from the purist, I read the book first standpoint, and so I'm expecting this shit to happen in these movies.
Yeah,
and one of them,
and it's even worse because you only have to adapt one scene.
Exactly.
It's like you can't even adapt the one scene. Why do you have to ruin the one scene?
Right. And like it went Albert's way to ruin it. Like it didn't have to do that.
Yeah, it's like that's kind of this is what you're basing it off of. You're not even gonna base it off. Wait, what?
Right. So they either didn't read that book, and they probably just saw the original movie, and like,
they probably
we're gonna
watched
do it our way now.
Yep, the original movie. This is a remake of the original movie. This is not from the book. They didn't take the time to read the 12 pages of the book.
Apparently not. I was kind of upset about that, TJ. Like, man, this movie.
But to be fair, someone must have read the book because there is lines taken directly from the book in the remake that wasn't in the original.
I can give you that. Yeah.
So someone did read the book, just they didn't want to do it. So I'll give them that.
No, I can't give it because the movie is like the movie we're talking about is the second one, the 2007 one. The movie's 2.5 hours long, so they couldn't just make that fit.
Yeah. So the gist of the book is that Marshall is taken a prisoner to the 310, the actual time prison train to Yuma, and he's got to get through his gang who is in the town, and then he does that. It's more than that. It's a bit more suspenseful. It's a good scene.
Yeah,
I mean,
it sets up good plot points, and all of it kind of plays off. It's good.
But like we said, it's what we should really have counted the pages, but like 10 to 20 pages at most. Which, if you take that in, like, put that in a script, it's 20 minutes?
20 minutes, yeah. It's essentially for both these movies, this is the third act, and it could be extended to a little bit longer for more suspense if you wanted to.
Right.
It's just an act of a movie.
So, they needed to come up with a whole 2/3 of another movie.
Which is doable because I think both those movies handled it well by like, okay, this act is clearly the third act, so just get to this point.
Yes.
By making characters and fleshing them out a little bit. And it kind of does it, movies.
I guess. I don't know.
Kind of.
I just don't know. So the movie, the 1957 version, is a rancher hard on his time, comes across the bad guy, Ben Wade, robbing a stagecoach, and then after he robs the stagecoach, Ben Wade goes into town and is arrogant and like him and his crew thinks they're smarter than everybody, so he ends up staying there sleeping with a girl, and then he gets caught, and then they're taking him to the train, essentially. And then the protagonist, what's his name? Dan
Evans. Yeah,
Dan Evans. Dan Evans volunteers because he needs the money, and the guy who was robbed offered money to anybody who would go, and no one wants to go. And that's in both versions of the movie. There's different reasons for it, But that's the gist of it, and then they get them to the train.
Yes.
But
simple as that.
yeah, it's really that simple because it's a simple story. But why they needed to change the main protagonist into this rancher guy, hard on his luck?
Yeah, I guess sympathy.
That's the only thing I could think of. I'll be honest with you. The thing I hated most about both of these movies was Dan Evans' family.
The first one was forgivable. Typical 1950s
But no,
movie.
no,
The kids
not
are
even-
okay. The wife is not used for some reason.
Not really though, because then they're just like distracting from the movie. It's like, okay, we have these characters here. Now we have to go back to the ranch because we have we set up this whole ranch thing so we can do the swap thing. And then, oh, right, he has a family. So in the 1957 version, the wife gets in a wagon and decides to go after him for some reason. Why?
Yeah, no,
Why
it's just bad writing. It's weird. It's very weird.
It's stupid. And then she's there for the end so he can say goodbye or whatever. And it's like, that's pointless.
Well, I think
And then
it probably is, we got her for 3 scenes. We only used her in 2 scenes. Shit, let's get her in the end somehow. So it could have been that.
So the family part is superfluous in that. And then the family in the remake is just
Terrible.
terrible.
The boys, his sons are awful. His oldest son's like, I hate you, Dad. I don't want to be here, Dad.
Oh
you
my
suck,
God.
Dad.
Every time he was on screen, I just wanted to punch him in his face. And I was hoping that they would just leave him out of it. But no, of course, he's got to come along. And
Can I say I did not, I called the endings right for both of them.
Did you?
I think I told you. I said to someone I said to myself, the first one is going to be a happy ending, because clearly. The 2007 one, people are going to die. And, people died in 2007 for sure. But the deal was pretty obvious this was going to happen because time periods, how things are made. But which was the...
Like, I didn't go into it and make any predictions. I kind of just went for the ride, so I didn't even think about how they were going to end. I just let it rush over me, so I wasn't expecting the ending of the second movie when it came.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was actually expecting, like, okay, this is a remake. They're just going to do the same ending.
No, I was expecting, especially because I saw the son coming along, like, either the kid's going to die, or for sure the other one's going to die. But
my problem was I thought for sure they were going to write that kid out somewhere along the line, and then he just kept coming along and coming along and coming along. I was like, oh my God, this character sucks. No, and he's just there to be a whiny bitch.
Exactly. It's supposed to show like conflict for this dad to like, become a stronger man and to be like the good that his kid should want, but they don't do it well.
And they made Dan Evans Christian Bale is fine.
Yeah.
In the role.
Yeah.
And I even think Russell Crowe is fine for the role. I think they acted their ass off in the movie. I'm not knocking their performances. I just think the writing for the characters was off for both characters.
And the newer one, right?
And then the newer one. Yeah,
yes.
Because they created this whole new backstory in the 1957 one. But I want to say that Van Heflin, who played Dan Evans, was a strong character. Yeah, he was hard on his luck, but he did what he had to do it. And sure, he was in debt and stuff, but they didn't have this comically evil bad guys burning down his barn and stuff. He just needed money. He was just in debt. You know what I mean? So
he was competent. He wasn't dumb. He was just
right. He didn't need to be made weaker than he was. Like Christian Bale's character was just like, oh, I'm just a coward and stuff like that.
Yeah, I got a limp. I'm not a man. Like, come on, why are we doing this?
And I'm just going to say it right now. The Ben Wade character, Glenn Ford pulled it off way better than Russell Crowe.
Yeah. His, the Ford one, his character was more charming.
It was very charming. Yeah, it was like he in the beginning when he seduced the
bar lady,
the bartender. It was believable. When Russell Crowe did it, it felt weird and creepy.
It was bullshit. Like, this character is not that they missed the mark with this character. He wasn't charming enough to be like what you want. They need to make him more charming. So the scenes where he will go crazy, like, oh, I shouldn't be rooting for this character because he is a bad guy. He never once.
But no, he went straight for an enigmatic terror crazy man right from the beginning. Instead of that charming thing, it was more like he's supposed to be like when he gives him his horses back, he's like, yeah, I'm not gonna hurt you or enough like that. But everything off of him felt more like, I don't need what you have, so I don't care. And it just is just this is more of a problem than it is me just charming you out of your way.
Yeah, the first one, Ford's character was more like, it was just a job I had to do. I'm sorry I inconvenienced you. Be on your way. This guy's like, eh.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, no,
like,
there's nothing
and
here for
I
this.
get it because I
Like, I
get
draw sometimes. Here's a picture. Like, what? Thanks, I guess.
right. Like they like I get why they did it based on the story that they wrote. It makes sense for what the story they wrote. It's just this is a remake, so it doesn't work with the characterization that was already established, which from the last movie, which was based off of other characterizations already in the book.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's just like
And that's
because
why I said
like
earlier, I think Tom Cruise would have been better because he's kind of charming, Tom Cruise,
right,
but also he
yeah.
can let loose. So I feel like he would have been okay at that.
But even with all that, even like the Ben Wade we got in the book felt more interesting to me.
Yes. Yeah, I wanted that Ben Wade. Yeah.
Yeah, because all it is the scene in the hotel room with Evans and Wade.
Yeah, yes.
And
And
that conversation it was really good in that hotel room. You believe every moment of it. And it's
yeah,
just like
he was like, I'm spitting facts. You're gonna die if you do these things. So and so is gonna do such and such. It's like this guy is in control of the scene.
and it's like if and the movies fail to translate it because of all the bloat they put behind it.
Yes. Like not once did the character, I guess more so in the first one he did, but like not once did that character control the scenes or just feel like he was in control and charming. He just never had that.
Right. And like the remake, they needed to create this group of people to go on this little trip so that we can kill off every one of them one by one along the way. And it's like, this is so stupid.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you gave us 5 characters, you're picking them off like one by one. And like this whole time, like he's killing most of them too. It's like,
yeah, like
I'm supposed to like this guy. I'm supposed to be charmed by this guy. He's like brutally murdering people right now.
In the 1957 version, the travel was mostly between Ben Wade and Dan Evans.
Yeah.
I mean, the other characters were around, but the chemistry was between those two characters.
Exactly.
So you built up why at the end Ben Wade would do the things that Ben Wade would do this for Dan Evans. Where at this one, it's just like even with how everything planned out, I still don't believe the Ben Wade in the remake would have done the things that he did.
No, and I think
at the end.
The problem with the second one is they added too many characters. Where the first one added 2-3 characters, and it made one of those characters really likable. So when they offed him in the end, I was like, no, I like Dumpy. I liked him. Yeah. No,
yeah, he was.
How dare you? Damn it! Yeah, I was out of that scene.
They take a incompetent character, made him a little bit more confident, trying to redeem himself, and then they hang him. Yeah, it's like it works.
Yeah, and it showed the brutality of the group. Like, oh no, our guys can die.
Yeah, and now he's by him, and that caused everyone else that was Dan to leave him, and now he's got to get Ben Wade to the train by himself.
Yeah, and this one, they gave us actors we know, but not characters to like. And so once they start killing them off brutally, it's like, okay, I know the face, but I don't know the character, so I don't care you got stabbed or pushed over the thing or shot in the gut. I don't care. So 2 drastically different characterizations of these characters, and it's like, damn, new movie. And this new one definitely leans into like bigger budget explosions and Gatling guns and shit. It's like
there's more action scenes in the new one. Yeah, there was no reason for it. There's no reason for it to be an armor thing.
No, I was like, God damn it. I rolled my eyes so hard at the beginning. I was like, it starts off with the barn fire. It starts off with Gatling guns. It's like, God, it literally hits all the Western bullet points of, here's some Asians doing field work. Here's Apaches and shit. I was like, oh my God, you're just trying to hit all the stereotypes?
Right. And it's even harder because the original didn't have any of that.
Exactly. The original was more like...
If this was as a fresh news story and a fresh new, not based on anything, and you had that stuff on it, yeah, that's stereotypes, but what do you expect? It's a Western. You need to have these things in it. That's what the stereotypes are there for. But no, the other ones didn't have that stuff in it. So it's
exactly. The original one was more just, here's some characters trying to survive and get the thing done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the worst crime that the remake did was the third act change.
Yeah. Let's compare that to the book, I guess. Both into the book, how faithful and unfaithful they were.
Good.
So let's tackle so in the book, it sets up the third act really well. Ben Wade's the bad guy. So Evans gets Ben Wade into the hotel, the motel, whatever you want to call it. And it's like, hey, I need a room up there. Who's that in the waiting room? The guy's like some drunk. He's been here since last night. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
So they get the room and they wait there. They have their whole dialogue and all that shit. Lo and behold, the guy waiting, that drunk who was there last night, is just one of the gang members from Wade's group, who was just because Wade has a thing. Like, we send guys to every town. If I'm
Well, one of our guys get captured, we have a guy in every major town that they would take them to, just in case.
And then when he finds out where the guy's at, he calls the other guys to come and do the thing. That's great suspense. That's fantastic. That's clever. That's smart.
It's brilliant on their part. You know, it makes the gang seem competent and impossible to take down.
Yes, it's fantastic. I love that so much. The first movie does it. Great. Thumbs up right there. The remake? No. They burn a guy in a cage
and he tells him where.
Squeals. It's like, really movie? The best part about that story you got rid of?
Yeah, that's like they just get told where to go and they go, so we can have a shootout at the end for an unnecessarily larger shootout with the entire city.
Yes, like, and I'll give the second one credit. Whereas, like, when the gang gets to the town, they're like, "Hey, townsfolk, join arms and let's kill these guys. We'll pay you." That's a cool concept. All these town folks join arms, trying to shoot down the guys. I'm cool with it. But the book and the first movie handle the smartness of the gang better.
Right, and here's the other thing. I don't believe Ben Wade would kill his own guys.
No.
And at the end of the day...
Well, no, to be fair, maybe this one. Maybe. Because he wasn't a character. He was just a brute, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess he kind of grew to like Dan Evans because he wanted him to redeem himself, essentially, and stop being a coward or whatever it is.
Yeah.
In his son's eyes or whatever. But, like, that was all stuff that movie placed on that character that was unnecessary.
And it wasn't good. Like, I never believed it. And I never believed any of these characters' motivations or end results, honestly, in the newer one.
At the end of the book in 310 to Yuma, the Marshal gets Ben Wade on the train.
Yes.
It ends there.
Yep. They all live happily ever after.
And the end of the 1957 film, Dan Evans gets Ben Wade on the train.
Yep. His wife's there, waves off, and it starts raining.
Yeah, and it starts raining because, his cattle was because of a drought and his farm was failing. So everything works out for him. The bad guys don't even die. They just they just watch them get away. Bye. Off the Yuma. At the end of the remake, everyone dies except for Ben Wade.
and the son.
And the son. Ooh. Whatever.
The good guy gets shot.
Garbage.
Ben Wade kills his own group, and he goes on a train.
And, he agrees to go on the train, and he admits to Dan Evans, I've been to Yuma twice. I'll just escape again. It's fine.
Yeah, so it's like...
It's like... in the 1957 version, that works because you can tell that they built this relationship up throughout this movie, and that he's doing this for Dan, essentially.
Yeah.
Whereas,
and Dan's like, I'm just trying to get you to the train. That's my job. Whatever happens after, happens after.
Right. I don't need to get on the train. I'm not getting paid to keep you in Yuma. So once I get you there.
Have you ever seen The Fugitive?
Yeah.
It's like that. Tom Lee Jones' character, when he confronts Harrison Ford, like, I don't care if you did or did not kill your wife. I'm just got to get you. That's my job right now. So it's the same kind of chemistry.
Yeah.
I believe you. I don't believe you. My job is this. And that's all I gotta do.
Exactly.
So that's why that first one worked so well, I feel. But this remake is pretty. It's very pretty. I'll give it. Well, it's not even pretty, honestly.
I'll give the remake. I'll give the remake this too. It was a long movie, but it didn't feel that long. It kept my attention the whole time.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
But I think that might just be due to the genre.
Yeah, westerns are more just.
It's hard to fall out of a western because everything is pretty much talking, action scene, action scene.
Yep, some pretty scenery here and there. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so it's anytime you're about to lose interest, you're like, oh, okay, something's happening.
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing against this movie is that it's called 310 to Yuma. If it was called anything else, I think we would be more.
We'd be more forgiven to it. You're actually right. If it was called,
because it's a good movie. It's generally a good movie, and like these characters aren't bad. The story's not bad. It's just
if it was 415
to the original, we have to compare it to the book.
If it was 415 to Tucson, it would be okay.
Honestly, yes, yes. It could have been called anything else, and I'm like, it's a good movie. But it tried hitting the mark of the previous movie, and it butchered the story of the short story. It's like, well. movie
And
to kind of sell it.
it's a problem because it's a remake of an adaptation of a 12-page story, and
Exactly.
it's like if you ever Xerox something enough times over and over again, it just
Hmm.
starts to fade lower and lower and lower, and that's kind of what
Yes.
happened here.
Yep, it lost its identity. It lost good things. And it got longer. How did it get longer? Like, was
I
it
don't know.
too?
There
I
was
just
no reason, like them going through the Apache part of
cut it
the
out.
thing. Cut that part out. Yeah,
Yep,
them going through the work camp where they're building the tracks. Cut that
yep,
completely out.
yep.
All those camping scenes can cut them out.
Uh-huh.
The three characters that Ben Wade killed, you can cut those guys completely
Yep.
out of the
Just make
movie.
it one character.
Yeah,
Make it the doc for all I care because I like Alan Tudyk. So keep the doc in. They get hurt
yeah. I mean,
along the way. He's there to fix
but
them.
even why was the doc there? No, not necessary. He did nothing. He was
Yeah,
there to keep. He was supposed to be there to keep the marshal's wounds from like happening, but that never
yeah,
came back. So
yeah.
he was just there to get killed. So I mean, that's fine. He was fine character, but there was no point to his character.
No, his point was, hey, we're going to show some gruesome stuff in the beginning to make this an R-rated movie, and that's about it. It's like, okay, movie, I guess. There's some. No, I'll give this movie though, like some good lines. Like even a bad guy loves his mama. I like that line, TJ. I like that line. Russell Crowe
Yeah,
says to
I
the old
mean,
man.
but a lot of the good lines in this movie are either taken from the first movie or the book.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Like, there's in every version of this story, that hotel scene has almost the same thing playing out.
Yes.
And that's another thing. They took out the brother breaking into the hotel room,
Yeah.
and also the remake also took out Ben Wade trying to get at Dan in the hotel room to test him
Yes.
and stuff like that. There's a lot of characterization they missed in that hotel room that
Yeah.
would have really strengthened it.
Like now they say like hotel room didn't last long, really,
No,
for what it was
and,
supposed to be.
and that was the most of the story essentially. So
Exactly. Hotel room to shootout. That's all that story was.
Yeah.
So bizarre.
I don't know. Overall, I'm glad I watched it. I liked it.
Which one? Both of them or the first, second?
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be weird to not watch the remake if after watching the 1957 film at this point. You know what I mean? If you haven't seen them.
Yeah. I'm glad I
haven't
consumed
seen-
all of it. The book too as
Yeah.
well. Like, it was all solid stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing though. In this day and age, it's like, yeah, it's pretty bland Western stuff. You know what I
Which
mean?
one?
All of it, like the entire thing. It's like, yeah, like because we've seen it all to death. I mean, in when it was written, it was like, oh, this is groundbreaking. But like every movie does a version of this now, and it's like, yeah,
But you can't say that because we also just watched but we watched the Good and the Bad trilogy, Fistful of Dollars, Few Dollars More, and Good, Bad, and Ugly, and we love those movies still, and those are older than these films.
yeah. But here's the thing about those movies. You can say what you want about every other movie trying to be like that. There has not been a movie that actually matched those movies.
And you're not wrong. Like they are the pinnacle of spaghetti western films.
Like there hasn't been a movie like that that feels like those movies. You know what I mean?
No, yeah.
Whereas the story 310 to Yuma, the book version of it, is literally just one scene. There's nothing really. People have just taken that scene and put it into other stories.
That's true. I guess.
Then the movies themselves have to expand and create a movie around what one scene, and it just wasn't. It's just filled with Western tropes of that time. You know what I mean? Like the rancher down in his luck, the family, and all of that stuff. Drought. So it's got a lot of the tropes, the common tropes of the time.
Yes.
And then the remake suffers because it's got to remake those common tropes and then add a modern flair to it, which just doesn't really work.
No, sadly, but it was still. We may have dogged the sequel, the remake. Still a solid movie, still competent enough. If you don't go in not reading the or seeing the other ones,
but to be fair, I think we're both biased and that we're both easier on westerns than we are other movies because
are we though?
They're just simpler movies.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, they're not trying to be too smart or too witty or preachy or whatever.
Right. They're just we know what we're getting when we're going into Western, and we get what we want from it.
Yeah,
no matter what you say about the remake, you went in for a Western. You seen some cowboys shoot some people. There's some bad things happen, some good things happen. You get an ending that is
That's true. You get all the check marks.
Yeah,
And they're all, as again, it's completely done enough. Like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
It's still a Western.
this is. I don't know if I've actually ever seen a bad Western.
I've seen boring ones, but yeah, bad?
Yeah,
No.
not just
That's
straight bad, because
No.
boring one's sure, because boring's
The
boring.
pacing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but like it's really hard to make. You have to go out of your way to make a bad Western. It's kind of
Cowboys
hard
vs.
to do.
Aliens.
I never saw it.
It's not good. If you want to count
But,
that as a Western.
But you're adding sci-fi elements.
Yeah, exactly. But a pure Western?
Pure Western. Yeah.
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 I guess, are we rating these things?
I mean, why wouldn't we?
Okay, want to rate the book too as well?
I mean, we could.
Nah, we don't do that for the comics, I guess, so we might as well not do it for the book.
Yeah, sure.
So,
Yeah.
you rate the old one first?
Well, you give us both your scores.
Why do I gotta go first?
Because I said it first.
The book was solid, so I'm judging these off the book, right? I guess.
You can judge.
I'm judging the first one off the book, and the first one was more faithful to the book, at least the third act wise. The character, they kind of misused the females characters, but it's the 50s, so it's what you expect.
I mean,
The bad guy's more charming.
I'm actually surprised there were any female characters in it.
I'm surprised they got her to the third act. Like, okay, sure.
Yeah, sure.
They didn't just leave her. The characterizations in the first one are better. I like them all better. I think, again, the first guy, the drunk in the first movie, enjoyed him. Sad he got hung. I like the first one a lot. I think I wouldn't watch it again, sadly, but
Nah, neither would I.
yeah, it's just too much of a 50s movie. I don't even think I could recommend it in that sense, but it's still a very good movie, so I'll probably get like a 5 out of 10. It's good, it's competent, it's just not amazing. The sequel, a remake, it's a movie, it's a cowboy movie. It's not faithful to the book at all. It's longer for some reason. A lot of things could have been cut out, but again, I think the biggest thing to this movie that's bad is that it's named 310 to Yuma. If it wasn't, it'd be a great comic. It'd be a pretty good cowboy movie. So all that being said, I think this is also maybe a 5. I'm totally indifferent to both these movies. I probably would revisit this one because it's newer, just to revisit it, but I do like the first one's loyalty to the book more. But I think at the end of the day, they're both averagely 5 movies.
I agree, but I think I like the 57 version just a little bit more than the remake.
Yeah.
And I think it was easier to get through. Maybe that's just because of the shortened time frame that I had to go through. It was 90 minutes compared to 2 hours. So I think with that, and I think the overall story was just stronger in the 57 version. So I think it's a little above average for me. I think I'm going to give the 57 version a 6.
Okay.
And I fall on a 5 with the remake, like you did.
That's fair. And that being said, like you saying that, I was more frustrated with the remake, but it was hard for me to take away, like, am I frustrated with it because of the source material I came across, or is it because the movie has issues?
Well, yeah, that
was my biggest part.
That was my problem too, but
Yeah.
I didn't want, and I couldn't bring myself to take a point away from it, which is why I think the 57 version got a point more from me.
That's fair. Because they're not bad movies. They aren't bad movies. There's things that will criticize in the sequel because, like, the kid was so fucking annoying.
There was no reason. He was so superfluous, and he was just there to be. He was just there because it's 2007 and we need a moody child in it. Exactly.
Yes. So, like, things like that is like, either I think that's because the movie's badly written in that sense, but still good. So yeah, 5 and a 6 for you. That's not bad. I definitely understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a fun experiment, I think.
Yeah, it was. I'm surprised that we were able to do 2 movies in an hour.
Yeah, it was smooth, right?
Yeah, I think it took us longer to watch them than it did to actually cover them.
That was the hardest part. Yeah, I was like, okay, let me get through this shit. Yeah,
that it? Anything else?
No, I guess. What's the slogan, TJ? I forget.
Now that we did it, it's done.